Welcome everyone, Crazy here. I recently got the Platinum Trophy for Meet Your Maker, which is a game made by Behavior Interactive, well known for making the game Dead by Daylight on this channel. And I had some thoughts about the game after getting the 100% for it, and wanted to start a new series on this channel, in which I give my in-depth thoughts on the Platinum experience of certain games and whether the journey was fun and allowed me to see the game in a new and different way, or if it was more tedious and kind of made me end up hating the game more. Anyways, to set the scene, when this game released, I made a few videos on it and thought it was a fairly fun and unique game. It kind of felt like a 3D Clash of Clans, and I found that very interesting to play. I even planned to do normally scheduled news videos on it. However, I kind of found myself quickly getting very bored and starting to find its repetitive nature. It also didn't help that, only until recently, most content updates were pretty minimal and only included things like some building blocks and the occasional trapper weapon. And because of this, I dropped the game pretty soon after release and haven't played much of it at all until the recent Sector 1 Dreadshore update. This update was, however, enough to interest me and make me start playing, and it did seem to be a pretty big and substantial update. And it definitely was. I think the new demolition weapon was pretty fun, and definitely added some new unique scenarios you were able to use for certain bases. Also, the new custodian I thought visually looked really cool, especially if you have the DLC for it, which turns the Nautilus into this kind of deep sea diver. I think that aesthetic looks pretty cool. Also, on top of that, the perks for the new custodian I thought were very interesting. I even found out that if you paired it with the defensive barrier and some good timed use of the grapple hook, you can basically speedrun and avoid danger on any base. If you can see in the background footage right now, I've actually just been speedrunning through all these bases with ease and not much trouble at all. Really, all you need to do is get the timing down for the shield, and whenever you hear an attack that you don't know where it's coming from, always activate it. And because of the perks for the Nautilus that make it quicker to recharge, more often than not it will be ready to use and it will just completely save your life. Also, using the grapple hook makes you basically skip half of the traps in the map anyways. I'd even say doing this build is much more efficient than any other build because it's quicker and easier and kind of makes the other builds completely useless. Typically, this would be a big problem because it's very unbalanced, and it definitely is a problem. I think they should do some balances for this. However, for my specific scenario, where I'm trying to go for the Platinum Trophy, to be honest, it did help substantially with doing the grind for the trophies, which was definitely much needed because this game's grind is very, very grindy. So, for example here, to get the Platinum Trophy, you need to activate 25 outposts, which is a lot of synthite. You also need to fully upgrade one of each type of weapon, fully upgrade an entire suit, and buy multiple augments and mods. Needless to say, that requires a lot of resources. The triple synthite weekend did help significantly for the 25 outpost achievement for me, but everything else required cells. And cells are only gained through either the contribution level ups, which is only 75 per level up, which is like nothing, or by processing 5 advisors, which gives you a mere 500 cells, and takes a long time to grind out. I'd honestly say this is so much of a grind that it's actually, in my opinion, much more efficient to just do the daily 500 cells bonus every morning, and then hop off until the next morning. And because of this, it makes the game feel much more like a grindy, free-to-play mobile game rather than a console game. Therefore, I think there should be some things that make it easier to get cells, like maybe some other means, but I will go into that later. Anyways, the game does also have a few multiplayer-related trophies, but don't stress out, they're not too hard. It's just stuff like revive your teammate, complete a map with your teammate, stuff like that. Although if you don't have a boosting partner, which I understand some people might not, feel free to use this comment section and I'll pin anybody that's looking for other players. I'd recommend putting your platform and your username, and that way people can find you pretty easily there. It is also worth mentioning that this game has a significant bug that has to do with the achievements or trophies. Basically, if you get one trophy in one version of the game, that trophy in the other version will be inaccessible. So for example, if you're playing on PS4, then upgrade to PS5. If you've already gotten some trophies on PS4, it will make that PS5 version's trophy completely unable to be completed. This is because you can't repeat certain tasks, and it's on the same saved game. While they do have different weapons and are adding even more in updates, there is the Level Up Advisors to level 10 trophy that you cannot do ever again once you get past level 10. I did even try to level them up one more time, just to see if maybe it would update and recognize, oh wait, it's up past 10, so it's given the trophy, but it actually did not give me the trophies. And this is pretty disappointing because I did kind of hope to get the PS4 and PS5 trophies because I usually do that for games I enjoy or care about. And it especially sucks for people that, had a PS4 and then upgraded, and now because of that, their Platinum Trophy is completely inaccessible. Because if they got some on PS4 and some on PS5, it makes both Platinum Trophies completely gone and not able to be possible. I do hope Behavior realizes this and does fix this in an update, but this has been present ever since the game's launched, so I don't think they really care enough about it or aren't aware about it, I'm not too sure. And anyways, to wrap this all up and give my final thoughts, I do think Behavior has a very unique game with a lot of potential here, and I do actually want to see it succeed. It is a pretty fun game at its core. However, I do think for this game to really succeed, this game needs significant updates that actually change things like gameplay features or maybe even add some story, and not just stuff like some new weapons and a new character here and there. I think some new gameplay features would be great, and like I said, a actual story to go off of too. Especially because I found the Chimera a very interesting character, with the whole idea of you feeding them Gen Mat and them evolving and being able to save the human race. I think is a very cool story. And maybe it'd be cool to start off and just slowly see the Chimera maybe change physically, see them actually physically evolve, and start to hear some story tidbits in the game. And then maybe have some big story event that happens in the game. You can even maybe have different game modes, and one of them being a mission game mode where you can learn more about the story. This would also be a great opportunity to add more ways to gain cells, like I said earlier. I definitely think this game has a problem with the grind, so adding more ways to get cells is always great, and game modes and missions would be a great way to do that. And of course, I do think it also needs some balancing. For example, that build I mentioned is pretty overpowered, I think. And yeah, basically to wrap it up, I do hope we get these significant changes in the game, and I hope the game does continue to live on. I would really like to see that for it. Especially because we have seen other games like Death Garden kind of slowly fade away. And I thought that game was very interesting too, so I hope they do some things to make this game actually stay, and yeah, hopefully that does happen. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, a like would be great, and a subscribe would be super helpful right now. I'm actually working towards 1,000 subs. That's one of my big goals right now. And yeah, so a subscribe would be super helpful. Anyways, that's everything. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and stay safe in the, I guess not fog, wasteland in this case. I never know how to do these. Anyways, have a great one.